The new cave-like device, which smells deliciously of apricots, attracts them like a magnet. Behind the lint roller and the scale, the camera is triggered. Once the garden dormice have shed some hair and were weighed, they get their reward.
Dormouse Detectives, by the conclusion, it seems that we may have our answer here with these pesticides, which are becoming poisons for these mice. But it is so great to see so many people passionately pursuing these answers using science and advanced technology to basic traps and good old on the ground, right in the dirt investigation to figure out what is happening to these creatures that play an important part within the larger ecosystem. It's a comprehensive, intelligent piece that does a great job at keeping you engaged in why these little mice matter so much.
Dormouse Detective? I thought this was so fascinating. First of all, that there has been such a significant, noticeable disappearance, for lack of a better word, of this species, like of this little animal, that they created this kind of, volunteer committee, I think is amazing and simultaneously maybe one of the most wild things I've ever heard in my whole life, but I love it. I also think that when something like that does happen and it doesn't follow the natural trend of animals in extinction, which we've seen over and over and over again, where, there's a decline of their population and, you find out the reasons why, you monitor the situation. When there's something that is so drastically different, such an outlier where like there's just almost an immediate noticeable drop, I think it definitely is something that you should be looking into, because it could be a sign of something else coming that could affect more than just this one animal, right? So I think that it's a good thing that this committee was created, but seeing the whole process, I loved. I loved that, you got to follow these different kind of avenues, that it wasn't just, the ones in the city. They also had people doing the ones in the forest, and, you got to kind of go through these different theories then, and, kind of go through their investigative journey and like see how they were done. And even if it ended up being a dead end, they still showed that, and I thought that that was really fun because it gave you a better idea of what the process actually is, especially when it's something like this where it happens so suddenly and so kind of out of nowhere, that you're kind of starting with like an empty whiteboard and you're like, okay, what do we think could have happened, and then trying to, go and investigate those to work it to, okay, this is what we actually think happened. So I thought this was really, really fascinating to learn about. Like I said, I really liked that you went through the entire journey, even the, ideas that didn't end up panning out, and that you got such a, diverse group of, these volunteer committee members, and like I said, from the forest to the city, and, the different things that people were doing and the different kind of contraptions, and getting to see it all, plus then going and seeing that in the lab as well. I really loved the entire kind of look that you got. It was a really, really insightful.
Dormouse Detectives. So this is all concerning the mystery of the declining population of dormouses. And in this piece, it gives you all this insight on the resources that are used to track and do research and discover what is going on, where are they going, what's happening to their population. It was very interesting to see how in depth this documentary really went into the scientific aspect behind it all. And it's clearly a passion to figure it out with the people that we're featured in this doc. There's clearly like a need and desire to save this community of animals. And I did feel like that was evident in the doc. It gave almost a feeling of a call to action. And it was just really informative to discover everything that goes into scientifically the ways that we take preventative measures to save species of animals.
Dormouse Detectives is a nature documentary about a cute little creature that is slowly disappearing amongst the masses as they discover that the dormouse has vastly shrunken and become problematic in not necessarily terms of extinction, but with the rate of their disappearance, it has come quite of a concern as to could they be becoming extinct, and if they are, why. And so this dives into a nice little study of them trying to get to know the journey and path of an everyday dormouse. As we can see, they sort of become detectives themselves in a scientific manner to try to figure out what necessarily could be the problem. Is there a new predator afoot? Is there a disease that is taking over their climate? I remember as I was watching this film, I was actually having lunch, and as I was taking a bite, it hit right into that scene of basically them going into the dissection of the mouse itself. And so it's like cute and educational and informative. I wouldn't recommend eating your lunch during that scene, but it does bring this light of really having this moment and appreciation for a certain species. What I really like is the scientists get really excited as they discover and are really gentle with these creatures. They don't want to really disrupt the day-to-day life of these creatures. They just want to be able to figure out how they operate and see if we can have a hand in making this issue be a little bit more resolved, as that's sort of our human responsibility to do.
Dormouse Detectives was an engaging documentary. I enjoyed the concept of discovering these various insects and using the term of detectives to uncover their motives, etc. And I thought that this documentary perfectly utilized the concept of detectives in this documentary. So well done.